And good morning, Man Hour Nation. Week 7 of the NFL season is upon us. It is time for some must-win situations. We got the Conjunction Wednesday happening. Hump Day Blues. We got the Combs eye test. All that and much, much more coming up here on the Man Hour. But first, we got to do a little bit of this. And now, Mike's Thoughts. Sometimes, guys, here in this beautiful world of ours, we just have to understand that sometimes people are out there just to troll us. Sometimes people are out there just to get our goat. And 9 times out of 10, when I post stuff on Facebook, it is to get your goat. It is to troll you. It is to get underneath your skin and trick the algorithm to thinking we're the best damn NFL show on the planet. So when I do that, do not come into my inbox. Do not come into the inbox and say, oh, are you on dope? What are you drinking? Are you drunk? Clearly I'm not. Clearly I'm sober. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't get drunk till 2:30. Everybody knows that. But at the end of the day, stop with coming in at the throat, as you like to say. I'm being sus. I'm doing a little of this. Shut up with that crap. We are here having fun. We are here to talk some NFL crap. And at the end of the day, if you don't like it, 20,000 other people enjoy what we're doing out there. Combsy, we are up to 20,000 followers and likes on the Facebook page. We are up to 4,000 followers on the on the YouTube page. People like what we're doing. If you don't like it, I guess see the door, right? I guess see the door. No, I'm kidding. We love each and every one of you guys. Come on, keep talking that shit. Slave sliding in the end like in the box. Cue that intro.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that while I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Mike with 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzz beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckcasher here with the Man Hour Show. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. Check out the blog section as well. But most importantly, check out the listen tab right here, right now. If you're going to miss any part of the show and you want to listen to the full form when you're heading to work, when you're at work, when you're laying in bed, when you're out doing the yard work, when you're out cleaning the garage, hit that listen tab and the podcast form will be there right after the live show is over. Also, guys, sharing is caring at the end of the day, so be sure to share this live stream right there. Hit the like button and comment down below like Jim Powell is already doing this morning. He says, what's up? What is up to you, Jim Powell, as well? We got Katie Wilson in the chat. She says, good morning, alum. She is a Central Missouri mule. The mules are out in numbers tonight, but speaking of mules, I had the greatest mule in the world on my left side today. I have the greatest mule in the world that wants to be the peanut butter to my ladies, and that is Brandon BC Combs. What is up, Combsy?
What is going on, Man Hour Nation? What is going on, Michael Buckheister? You know, I listened to the After Hours show last night.
Did you?
Yeah. You stole my intro.
I stole your intro?
Yeah. I'm the one that comes in and says, what is going on, Man Hour Nation?
Oh.
What is going on to whatever host is on?
Oh.
And last night, I hear Michael Buckheister come on. But you know what they say, Buck? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yeah, Combs, I'm still trying to figure out how to be like the second fiddle to like Hoffy, because I feel like sometimes I got to carry him still. Like, come on, buddy, we can do this. So
sometimes you got to carry him.
So I know you got to carry me all the time. So I'm like, hey, if I open up the show just like Combs does, it'd be like we haven't even skipped a beat, right?
Buck, you carry yourself just fine.
Yeah.
Hoffy, on the other hand, redheaded stepchild.
Redheaded stepchild. We are getting him right. Each and every day he is improving. But the After Hours show is going to be Hoffy's solo thing moving forward because I got the I got the word that I can no longer do the after show, Combs. This morning I woke up and says, she's like, I want you in bed by 10 o'clock. I'm like, damn, I get home at 10 o'clock from work. But apparently I got a bedtime now. I got an allowance, and so the After Hours show might be next for like at least with me on it moving forward.
So you're now a real married man.
Oh, I've been real married for 7 years now. It's
well, I mean, once they tell you what to go to bed, you're real married.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, I've been
I
told
was
what time to get up
before I was married.
Yeah, it is what it is. But guys, it is Hump Day. It is Wednesday edition, October 18th. Combs, October is freaking flying by, man. Halloween is almost here. We're gonna have to have a Halloween special at some point. Get some costumes.
This whole year has flown by.
Yeah, we've been living life crazy. You know, there's a lot of things happening on your side, a lot of things happening on my side. It's like, whoa. At some point, slow it down. Damn, let's live.
Yeah,
life
this whole year has just flown by.
Yeah, but it is what it is. It is Wednesday. Conjunction Wednesday is officially here. We got some if and then statements. We put a little bit of if, and then we follow up with a then. So if Brandon Combs puts mustard on bologna, then he is definitely a Chicago person because nobody else in the world does that. That is freaking gross. But it is what it is. We also have must-win Week 7 games. We got, 4, 5, 6 teams that we are going to discuss and see if they're must-win opportunities. So send her to Big Jim's whiffing school. I got this. So, listen, Jim, I respect the support, but there's a reason why I've been married for 7 years and we've only had like maybe 3 fights. And it is because I know my role. I know my role, jabroni. My role is to sit down and shut up and say, yes, ma'am.
I mean, I don't know what Big Jim's wifing school is all about, but it doesn't sound like I want to send my there.
Listen.
Just throwing it out there.
It looks like Jim has a beautiful family, some kids and a wife, so he's obviously doing something right.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm sure he does. But I know if I'm running a wifing school.
Yeah. I feel like this is a entrepreneur. How do you say that word?
Entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Like I feel this is an opportunity. Like, hey, if you donate $1,000, I will whip your wife into shape. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds like an indecent proposal.
Yeah, definitely sounds like something I do not want to be a part of. All right,
thank you, though, Jim.
Guys, let's get into it here. So there are some must-win games or some teams that are in must-win situations that I feel going into Week 7. And the first team that I want to talk about are the Green Bay Packers taking on the Cleveland Browns. The Green Bay Packers right now are 2-3 on the season, and they do play the Denver Broncos coming up. They play the Vikings, and then they play the Rams the following week. Some people, not very many, but myself, thought that the Green Bay Packers were going to have a very successful season. I was thinking 13-4, maybe potentially winning the North, but I did put a caveat in that I thought they were going to be really, really good or really, really bad. There was going to be no 500 point here. So at this point right now, they're looking really, really bad going into Week 7. So Combs, we have to ask the question, going into Week 7, are the Green Bay Packers in a must-win mode when they travel to Mile High Stadium to take on the Broncos?
Yeah, so after the last 2 straight losses to the Lions and the Raiders and falling down to 3-2, and trust me, I love seeing it. Not going to lie. They have to beat the Broncos because until Week 15, when they play the Panthers, they don't have any gimme games. They got the Vikings, the Rams. They go to Pittsburgh. They got the Chargers, Lions, Chiefs, at New York for the Giants, and then the Buccaneers before they play the Panthers. This could be a really bad season for the Green Bay Packers. I only had them winning 5 games anyway. I don't think Jordan Love's the guy at all. I watched this guy, and this isn't – look, I promise you, not a Bears fan, saying that the Packers quarterback can't get it right. This is me looking at it realistically. And when you watch Jordan Love play, there is a lot of overthrows, a lot of underthrows, a lot of Mitch Trubisky in Jordan Love. And I wanted the Packers to get it right. I mean, I'm happy that they didn't. Don't get me wrong. I am happy that they lose, and I am happy to see them struggle. But if they get it right, it just goes further to help possibly have the Bears front office, the Bears ownership, see how poor they are. When your team, your big rival consistently gets it right and you consistently get it wrong, maybe at some point a light bulb goes off, right? But I don't think they got this right. I don't think Jordan Love's the guy. I think you're going to continue to see him struggle, especially against good defenses. You know, a lot of people were on him after week 1 when he tore up a Bears defense.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done anything since. You give him that comeback win versus the Saints,
yeah.
But that was the Saints sitting on a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter and got caught up.
Right.
This guy is not going to carry them into the next 10 years. And that's why they only gave him a 1-year extension on his rookie deal. Maybe that's why they only gave him a prove-it deal. Maybe that's why they showed that they didn't believe in him yet either. Maybe they already saw this. And what I'm seeing on the field is the same thing that I saw for 4 years out of Mitch Trubisky. Regardless of play calling, because I'll give you that. The play calling in Chicago was terrible. It still is. But when you have wide open receivers, when you have the opportunity to throw the ball, and you still can't hit your target, that's a problem. And that's not going to be good for success in the NFL.
Yeah, so when we look at this game, Combs, and the Green Bay Packers are sitting at 2-3, I am with you on this point. They do not have a very favorable schedule moving forward. Now, you can say maybe the next 2 weeks are favorable playing against the Broncos and the Vikings that are not very good teams, right? But beyond that, the Rams, we're going to talk about them soon. Sneaky good team. Steelers, still them. Chargers, best team on paper in the NFL. The Lions, Chiefs, Buccaneers. Hell, even the Bears in the last week of the season. Guys, this is definitely a must-win for the Green Bay Packers 100%, because if they do not win this game, you are now on a 3-game losing streak. Not only are you on a 3-game losing streak, you lost to the Raiders. Sorry, Jim. Sorry, John. But the Raiders are just not them. Then you lost to the Broncos, the worst team in the NFL. The supercomputer Combs puts them at negative 466.33 points on the power ranking scale. They are by far the worst team in the NFL. Now, if you are losing to the worst team in the NFL, yes, it is on the road, whatever, right? You have some serious confidence issues moving forward. You have a lot of I don't know what to do with my hands issues moving forward, because at this point you are sitting at 2-4 on the season. You play a division foe next, then you play the Rams and Steelers. Do you go all in and tank? Do you try to somehow pull out 6 wins and get a 10th overall pick? Like, you are kind of up in the air. This is definitely a must win for the Green Bay Packers 100%. Because if they don't, it could be a long season for the Cheeseheads.
Yeah, and I believe it's going to be. I don't see this getting much better for them, and with the schedule that they have, it's going to be an uphill climb.
Yeah, 100%. So we got a resident NFL expert. He's an expert, Combs, because he has 4 letters in his name, and that is John Peoples. He is in the chat. He says, "What's up, all? Good morning to you, John. Hope you're having a grand old day. Hopefully you're starting a good day in there in the Motor City and looking over in Vegas like, man, my Raiders might be good someday." So John lives in Michigan and is a Raiders fan. Like, I feel for the guy. I feel for the guy, because if you root for your hometown team, you are a homer now, right? You are jumping on the bandwagon.
In his defense, he lives in Michigan and roots for the Raiders. So this is the first year he's ever had to actually look at him and be the worst team.
True.
Of the two.
Packers in the tank, says John. Packers are in the tank. Jesus. I don't know.
Think they're going after Caleb Williams?
I don't know.
Do you believe in Caleb Williams?
So Combs, I don't watch enough college football to really make a good analyst of that, right? Normally when I start prepping for like the draft and that type of thing, like then I start to watch games. But normally during football season, because Saturdays are our days for film and we got the playoffs starting. So like my Saturdays are booked solid. So college football is kind of on the back burner. We got basketball, we got flag football, we got soccer, and then I got actual high school stuff that I got to do. So probably once November starts and like USC is playing like, you know, Oregon and some other teams just like that, then I could get a better synopsis of him. But hearing
you
things,
need to tell your kids to go to their own games.
Yeah, hey, Trip, drop your clothes and walk down the street naked again. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, hey, at least you're still able to watch football. Yeah. I mean, until the cops get there, but
wouldn't be the first time. But we digress from that. Tim McWall is in the chat. He says the Bears will get Caleb regardless with those 2 picks they have. Listen, Tim, the most Chicago thing is going to happen with these first 2 overall picks. They will get the first overall pick and they'll get the second overall pick. They will trade those picks away. Somebody's going to jump up there and they're going to be like, hey, I want your first overall pick or your second overall pick. They're going to give them the house for it. Sure, right? But then with the first overall pick, the Chicago Bears are going to draft Will Howard out of the Kansas State University. They're going to be one of the biggest busts in the NFL. Will Howard has been benched twice this year for a 17-year-old quarterback.
You're really going out on a limb, Michael Buckheiser, saying that a Bears quarterback will be a bust.
Well,
here's the craziest thing I heard about the Bears 1 and 2 pick. Somebody said they're going to use both of them on a quarterback. And then whichever one they decide gets the starting job, they'll trade the other one coming out of training camp.
What? That'd be stupid.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
What are you?
But it wouldn't shock me.
Oh, let me ask you this. Let's say that does happen. You do get Caleb, and then what's the kid out of the Shakira guy or whatever? Yeah. Let's say you do get both of those.
Bo Nix,
guys.
Maybe.
Okay. Let's say so Caleb Williams is our guy, but Bo Nix, you aren't good enough. Like, what team is going to give you like a first round pick for a quarterback that you think is not good enough on your team? Like,
let's be real. If that happens, I won't know the outcome because I'll be in prison for burning down Hellas Hall.
This is what happens.
Trying to kill Virginia McCaskey.
This is what happens. The Chicago Bears draft Caleb Williams number 1 overall. They draft Bo Nix number 2 overall. They trade Justin Fields away to, let's say, Pittsburgh. They bring in Mr. Trubisky back in as a third-string quarterback. Mr. Trubisky wins the starting job.
Sounds about right.
Oh, sheesh. John says, nope, Caleb is all hype.
That's it's a teaser for Combs' eye test later. Yeah. We'll talk more about Caleb Williams.
Yeah,
I promise.
Caleb Williams is coming up very, very soon here. But the next game that I want to talk about here, Combs, are the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both of these teams are sitting at 3-3 on the season. The Falcons are sitting. They do play the Titans and the Vikings the next following weeks, and the Buccaneers do play the Bills versus the Texans. So between the Falcons versus the Buccaneers on Sunday, Combs, which team needs this win more?
I would probably say the Falcons, just because they need all the wins they can get. The way that they are not really using Bijan Robinson in the run game, the way that they are starved for a quarterback using Desmond Ridder at quarterback. I don't know what the Atlanta Falcons are doing, and I don't know how many more games they can win. The Buccaneers are going to be in it till the end with the New Orleans Saints. I think the Buccaneers actually have a chance to win the NFC South. So I think the Falcons need it more, but I just think the Buccaneers are going to win the game. I think they're a better team.
Yeah, so looking at this game on hindsight, right, like hopefully I could predict the future, but I have been saying that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win the NFC South all season long. Right now, they're in a three-way tie with the Saints and the Falcons, and obviously the Bucks for first place in the NFC South. So with that being said, the Buccaneers need this win a little bit more because look at their next two games. They're playing a really good Buffalo Bills team and then a really sneaky good Texans team. The Falcons play the Titans and Vikings next. Two not very good games at all. So the Buccaneers definitely need to win this game because when you look at this, if you get behind the eight ball, I'm sorry, the Buccaneers are 3-2. They had to bye. But when we look past that, they play the 49ers. They play the Colts. They play the Packers, Jaguars, Saints. Like their schedule is not tough by any means, but they're definitely not an easy slate of games either. So I think the Buccaneers need this win simply just to get back on that winning ways. They did get punched in the mouth by the Detroit Lions 20-6 last week, and they just kind of looked lost. It kind of looked like, whoa, the Lions are a lot better than we thought they were. But I think the Buccaneers need this game a little bit more.
But even if they do have a tougher schedule heading around, if they sweep this division, they win this division.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I've heard people say before that, you know, like somebody said that if the Vikings sweep the division, they're going to win the division. If the Vikings sweep the division, they're going to finish with 6 wins.
Right.
Like, it's just the way that it goes. But I think in this division, I think that's going to reign true because this division winner might only have 7 or 8 wins.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints are kind of looking like kind of like a flash in a pan, right? They got hot, and now they're kind of like starting to simmer. The Falcons, we all thought, hey, 2 wins in a row over the Vikings and the Bears. Turns out those were not very good wins.
The Panthers.
And the Panthers are just terrible.
Yeah.
This is Tim says this is going to be a snooze fest game. I don't think so. I think it's going to be a good game. I think Desmond Ridder comes out and actually performs at a decent level. Then Tim says the answer is no one cares.
Yeah.
No one cares about the Bucs or the Falcons. Not wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
John says Baker's Bucks all day. Listen, Baker's Bucks. I like that. Baker's Bucks.
I like Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. Why do people hate Baker so much?
His personality comes off as kind of a douche.
I mean, sure. I want a douchebag quarterback. Like, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if I want an offensive line.
Right. I mean, I feel like the only way Baker Mayfield could remotely be liked ever is if he went to like the New England Patriots and they were like just like an average team. But if you want to piss people off, like 100% like upset the world, send Baker Mayfield to the Dallas Cowboys, and you could put Baker or Dallas in every headline, and that thing will go viral each and every time.
Yeah. I don't. I like Baker.
Yeah. I liked him since college, honestly. Jim says Falcons for sure. Tampa has all the good press right now. Falcons haven't had good press since everyone was buying the 90s starters jacket.
Facts.
Yeah, and people are starting to not buy into Desmond Ridder either. So, is it Arthur Smith as their head coach? Like they kind of want them both out right now. So the
Falcons did have good press in the early 2000s too.
Yeah, what was
it? And Michael Vick.
What they had the MVD? Like it was Vick, Warwick Dunn, and who was their other running back? I can't remember.
That team was filthy, man. If Michael Vick didn't have the dog thing, I think that they probably win a Super Bowl, if not a couple of Super Bowls.
Can I give you a hot take here?
Oh,
I think Michael Vick dogfighting and going to prison prolonged his career, just because when he was in prison for 2 years or whatever it was, right? He got the hunger for the game back, right? He knew that he was not all that and a bag of chips, and he went to Philly, and he became a great quarterback almost.
he was a great quarterback in Atlanta.
Right. But he was a scrambling move on the run guy. When he went to Philly,
game.
Yeah, but when he went to Philly, he become he still had that, but he become more of a pocket passer.
Yeah.
So
he had a crazy arm, man.
Yeah. It was Virginia Tech that he played for, right? It was. Yeah. I want to say it was the Orange Bowl or something. Watching him play, I was like, good God, this guy is freaking amazing.
Well, in warm-ups one time, he stood in the where the stands hit behind the end zone.
Yeah. And
threw the ball into the other end zone.
Jeez, that's 140 yards,
something like that. That's crazy stuff. But that's just what he was. He was ridiculous.
Yeah, just a great national athlete. And you
just too bad he was a shitty human being for a couple of years.
Well, he needed an outlet. You have all that money. What do you do?
Yeah, but there's kind of a better outlet than that, right? Maybe I'm just partial because I own a pit bull.
Me too.
Right. But
maybe he should have just had chickens.
There you go.
A little cockfighting.
I'd have been all right with that.
John People says NFL stands for New Effing Lions.
They are the new Lions, and you had them number 1 in the power rankings.
I did. I am so. If you guys do not know, I have been on the Detroit Lions bandwagon fan the last 2 seasons. They did not perform. This year, I issued death to the Detroit Lions, and now look at them. Number 1 in the power rankings.
So, Buck, can you do me a favor
100%.
And just pick the Bears to suck for the next 5 years?
Yeah, off season's about 6 months away.
Yeah,
I got you, man. I got you.
All right, I appreciate it.
Tim McWall says Baker would be a better backup than the third stringer 49ers sent over to the Dallas Cowboys. Baker Mayfield's a starter. Baker Mayfield's not a backup in the quarterback. I would put Baker Mayfield probably over number 14 in the quarterbacks. He's better than 20
other players. If Baker Mayfield was the backup in Dallas, would they have already made a quarterback change?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I think so too.
100%. John says Jimmy G and Brian Hoyer for Baker Mayfield. Why do you guys hate Jimmy G? All he does is win. When he plays a full 16-game season, he takes your team to the NFC Championship game.
Oh. Yeah, when he plays a full season.
Yeah, but they're in the AFC now, and he's already missed a game. And I see what you're doing.
And he's hurt again.
Marietta could have been. I'm not for sure what he means by that. Marietta could have been. Mariota.
Mariota?
I don't know. True. BS ran him off. Miami will lose this week, says Rob. Oh, we got game picks coming up Friday. I like that.
That's a hot take. They got a good game. Who are they playing this week? I know it's a good game.
They are playing
Eagles.
The Eagles, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'll be a good game.
Be a very good game.
I'll be watching that one Sunday night game too.
It is 8:20 here on the East Coast, 7:20 on the Central Time Zone, which is the best time zone in the world. I just want to put that out there. Chicago has the best time zone ever. The next game that I wanted to talk about here, Combs, I think this is secretly going to be a really, really good game. You have the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are sitting at 3-2 right now. Once they do play the Cardinals, they have the Browns and Ravens coming up. Is this a must-win for Seattle?
I feel like every game the rest of the way is going to be a must-win for Seattle.
Yeah,
they play in a really tough division. San Francisco is going to be really tough to catch, and you've got a really tough schedule. I mean, Browns, Ravens, Commanders, Rams, Niners, Cowboys, Niners, Eagles.
Wow.
So loss. So, I mean, you have to win these games. You have to beat teams like the Cardinals and the Browns, the Commanders. You have to win every game that is winnable. And I'm not saying that they should win this one, but you have to find a way to win the winnable games because you've got a lot of non-winnable games coming up.
Yeah, when you look at the Seattle Seahawks schedule moving forward, end of November, they play the 49ers, Cowboys, 49ers, Eagles. Look at that gauntlet of the game. Like you could easily lose 4 games in like a row there, and like that's not saying that the Seahawks are not a good team, but this is definitely a must-win for the Seattle Seahawks 100%. Because
even prior to that, you got to get past the Rams, Commanders, and Ravens.
Right, and the Rams are a sneaky good team. We'll be talking about the Rams here in a second to see if they got a must-win game. But when you look at the Seahawks, if they want to. I had them winning the division this season. I thought they were going to, really catapult themselves up, and the 49ers were actually going to take a step back. Going into week 7, I was 100% wrong on that. The 49ers are still them. But the Seahawks, I feel like if they want to get into the playoffs, it is going to be a wild card, and it's going to take 10 wins, I think, to really get into the playoffs this season in the NFC. The NFC seems a lot more balanced this year than in years past. So, you just like what Combs said, you have to win the easy game, or not the easy games. You have to win the games that you should win. You should beat the Cardinals. You should beat the Commanders. You should beat the Titans and the Cardinals again. Like, you have to win these should-win games, and you have to upset a team like the Browns or the Ravens or the 49ers at some point. Like, you have to pull some wins out, and they need to get on a momentum. They need to get on a track moving forward. So this is definitely a must-win for them. 100%. 100% it is a win. John thinks Hawks for the win.
Ooh.
I mean, they should. They should win. They're
at
home.
The Cardinals.
They're at home playing against the Cardinals. You should win 100%.
It's a division game, though, and the Cardinals are coming off a big win of the Cowboys.
Well, the Cardinals in general are just that sneaky good team. Let me ask you about the Cardinals, right? Kyler Murray is on IR still. Probably not going to come back till November if he comes back at all. If the Cardinals,
guess that win against the Cowboys was 4 weeks ago, though.
Yeah, well, the Cardinals didn't play the 49ers, and then they had a bye week last week, I think.
No, they had the Bengals and then the Rams.
Okay, you're right. But if the Cardinals continue to play at like the level that they're at, right, really scrapping around, really dogging around, do you think Kyler Murray's tenure in Arizona is done? Because Josh Jacobs is doing just enough to keep him in there. Do you think? I don't know.
I think Kyler Murray was done prior to this. I think they were done with Kyler Murray last year. Kyler Murray, Caleb Williams, same person.
Yeah, just a foot and a half difference, right?
No, Caleb Williams is small.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
No.
So one thing about these players that we'll be talking about moving forward, Justin Fields, Kyler Murray, these are coaches. These are GMs that they're not their guys, right? It is a little easier to push not your guy out the door, right? It is not your easy. It is easy to push Kyler Murray out the door when you have not seen him play in your system. Get out of here. See you later. I think Kyler Murray is done in Arizona, to be 100% honest.
I do too.
Rob is in the chat. What is up, Rob? He says people have to understand Miami's 4 wins are against teams that are 3-21. Not wrong. Not wrong.
They put up 70 points in an NFL game
versus the Denver Broncos that have 1 win against your Chicago Bears.
That offense is sick. I mean, look, I get what you're saying because I'm with you on the fact that maybe the Dolphins, are a little bit overrated, but they did do it to the Chargers.
Almost lost.
But yes, they beat the Patriots, Broncos, Giants, and Panthers. I still think that this is a big game on Sunday night. I think it might be the most fun game to watch. I think it's going to be a shootout.
Yeah. Rob also says the one decent team that Miami has played, they lost. True.
Yeah.
I mean,
when they played Buffalo, but
yeah.
This offense is filthy, man. They've got so many weapons, it's ridiculous. So we'll see. I mean, you might be right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I kind of believe in this offense.
Well, also on the flip side, right, the Philadelphia Eagles did lose to the Jets, kind of maybe a wake-up call. So the Eagles might come out throwing freaking haymakers and knock the Dolphins flat on their ass. So,
or maybe the Jets put out the blueprint on how to stop them.
Well, just let Jalen Hurts throw interceptions. It is what it is. Tim McWall says, however, the Eagles are trash. So trash.
That's another team. I mean, a lot of their wins have not been good wins either, right? Like, who have the Eagles beaten this year? Maybe I'm wrong.
They have not beaten the Jets.
They beat the Patriots, Vikings, Buccaneers, Commanders, Rams.
Yeah, the
so
Buccaneers.
It's not like they haven't been world beaters either.
Right. Jim thinks it's Drew Lock time. Drew Lock time. I don't think so.
Don't sleep on that Jets defense.
Caleb Williams is actually 6'1", 226. So
Caleb Williams is 6'1", but
isn't the average NFL quarterback like 6'4"?
What did they say Kyler Murray was when he was in college? Did they say he was like 5'12"? And he's really like 5'10"?
Shoot, he's like 5'7".
Yeah. Exactly. Caleb Williams is a small quarterback, and well, trust me. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
We're going to talk about Caleb Williams.
John People says he is done after this year in Arizona after an injury last season. Put Kyle in Pittsburgh makes him a playoff team. Kyler Murray to Pittsburgh makes him a playoff team. I think Kenny Pickett is the guy moving forward. I don't think there's any way you're going to move from Kenny Pickett.
I think so too. I think a lot of people are down because of how they've been, but you got to remember he lost his number one wide receiver to a hamstring injury.
Yep. They're
getting him back in the next, if not this Sunday, probably next Sunday. But
right.
A lot of people think it's going to be this Sunday. You get Deontay Johnson back. I really think that maybe you'll see a little bit better Pittsburgh Steelers team.
Yeah, I agree. When was it the Raiders that they played when they started running the ball at them and started running that and stopped running that zone crap? I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
And then Deontay Johnson, he went down, and so I get it is. Tim says stats say that Kyler Murray is 5'10". I call BS. He's 5'8", 5'9" max. He's 5'10".
They always bust it up just a little bit. I mean, they that's just facts. That's what they do.
Listen, Combs. So
in all sports,
you are a 5'8" guy, right? Maybe 5'9" at the most.
5'9",
right? So let's say you are, a 16, 17-year-old impressionable kid. You are 5'9", and you're like, I'm going to go meet my hero, my quarterback hero. You expect him to be a larger-than-life figure, right? You have to look up to him. He's got big, massive pythons coming out of his arms, and you have to look down at Kyler Murray. Wouldn't that, break your heart? You're like, man, you are my hero?
Yeah. And not only that, but when you guys think about it, I'm 5'9", 220. I'm a big dude. I'm a fat kid. I say it all the time. I like to eat cake. I like my food. And it's never going to change. But my driver's license says that I'm 5'11", 190.
There you go. There you go.
See? That's all you need.
And I am a 6'3", 240. So we're the same weight, Holmesy.
Is that your 40 time?
It used to be.
6'3"?
It used to be. Not anymore. Now it's about 8'6", 8'7" on a good day.
Mine's about 8'7" too, but it's minutes.
So Tripp is playing soccer, right? And he's like, Dad, let's go play soccer. And I'm like, dude, I haven't fucking ran in 5 years, right? Legitimately ran for a long period of time. And we ran up and down the soccer field three times. I'm like, fuck this.
And you're stuck in wind.
Yeah. And he's
you know what's crazy is because I play softball, I play hockey, I'm always active. But then somebody will, the kids will be like, oh, let's go run around for a little while. And I'll be running around with the kids for 3 minutes. They're still going wild. And I'm laying down on the ground
it's what has happened with our lives? I guess this white monster would do it, I guguess. But the next game that I want to talk about here, Combs, is the Pittsburgh Steelers that we just talked about, right? They are 3-2 on the season, and they do play the LA Rams 3-3. The Steelers have the Jaguars and Titans coming up, and the Rams have the Cowboys and Packers coming up after this game. Which team needs this win more, Steelers or the Rams?
Ooh. I think they both need it equally, to be honest with you. Again, I mean, they both play in divisions where it's going to be tough to catch the division leader. They're both probably trying to play for wild card teams. I'm going to say that the Rams need it more because the Rams play a much tougher schedule than what the Steelers do. Again, the Steelers are getting their number one wide receiver back soon, if not this week, next week. And they've got you know how we talked about I forget who we were just talking about, but they had a gauntlet of games where they played San Francisco, blah, blah. Like, the Steelers have a stretch where they play the Packers, Browns, Cardinals, Patriots, and Colts. So I would say the Rams probably need a little bit more because the Steelers have kind of a soft schedule.
Yeah, and when you look at the Rams, I said last week was a must-win for them, and they come out and they performed. Because I think at some point in the season, the trade deadline, Combs, is October 31st. We have, 10, 15 days until the trade deadline. If the Rams lose this week and possibly lose next week, you could see a fire sale in LA. You could probably see them throw in the towel and say, Matthew Stafford, we love you, but you might suit better in Dallas. Cooper Kupp, we love you, but the Chiefs might need you a little bit more. We can get another first-round draft pick.
And then the Bears pick ever is they'll trade the Carolina pick back to the Rams for Leonard Floyd again.
Yeah, or Aaron Donald would be even better. But this is a must-win more for the LA Rams, just because I feel if they fall behind, right, if they become 3-4, a 3-5 team, I feel like they're going to throw in the towel and be like, you know what? Let's build for next year. Let's get rid of some of this high dollar value that we have. Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, Matthew Stafford. We have a bunch of young guys. Let's get another quarterback in. Let's get Caleb Williams in. Let's get somebody in. So this is definitely a more must-win for the LA Rams. John says it as well. It is must-win for the Rams as well to keep up with San Francisco. I don't think the Rams have the capabilities of keeping up with San Francisco. The San Francisco 49ers are 5-1. They are 3-3. So I just would it be the upsets of all upsets if the Rams win the division?
Yeah. That would be crazy. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, the Niners would have to take a huge step back.
Right.
But that would, it'd be fun to watch from the outside in.
The Niners kind of have a favorable schedule, you can say. They do play a Bengals team that's not looking very good. The Jaguars team, you don't know whether they're going to be good or bad. Then they do play the Bucks, Seahawks, and Eagles. But then after that, they just play a lot of okay teams. It's just, the 49ers, I think you're right, would have to really shit the bed 100%. But
right.
The hour is coming up on us very, very quick here, Combs. We're only doing an hour today. I got to get little man off the bus at 11:15. So we're going to bring back a segment that is called Combs' Eye Test. Hit us with Combs' Eye Test.
All right, guys. So Combs' Eye Test is basically just that. It's stuff that I see happening. It's stuff that I can see on the field, stuff that I can see off the field, stuff that I can see happening around. And one of the things that I can see happening lately, and we've talked about it a couple times on this show already, is Caleb Williams. I hear it all over the place right now in Chicago. Chicago sports radio, Chicago sports fans talk about, the Bears need to go draft Caleb Williams. Well, first of all, let's think about this logically. You want a team that over the last 40 years since the McCaskies have taken over have proven that they can't hire anybody that can develop a quarterback. They can't develop a quarterback. And they waste quarterbacks to draft another quarterback. Dumbest thing I've ever heard. But on the flip side of that, I also hear people always talk the big knock on Justin Fields. Well, he's an Ohio State quarterback. No good quarterbacks ever come from Ohio State. Okay, dummy. Name me a great quarterback that's ever come from USC. And then they want to go with Carson Palmer. And then I break out, well, Carson Palmer was only 4 games above 500 as a starting quarterback. The guy only completed 62% of his passes throughout his career in the NFL. He was good, but he wasn't great. And people are talking about Caleb Williams being a surefire Hall of Famer. They'll be, oh, well, Matt Leinart was all right in the NFL. He was 8-10 as the starting quarterback. Completed 57% of his passes. 15-21 touchdown to interception ratio. Not very good last time I checked. So if you don't want an Ohio State quarterback because they can't be good, why would you want a USC quarterback? Caleb Williams, when you watch this guy play, keep in mind, and we do this to all college quarterbacks, they're playing against college talent. But even more than that, Caleb Williams is playing against Pac-12 talent. So let's take into account the games that he's played against teams in the SEC, in the Big Ten. Hell, let's take this past weekend against Notre Dame. Mr. 4 interceptions. Some of the worst interceptions I've ever seen. Caleb Williams is just Kyler Murray. Caleb Williams is not going to be a successful NFL quarterback, especially if he comes to the Chicago Bears. Stop with all the Caleb Williams talk. I hear this stuff about Caleb Williams. Oh, he's got a list of 5 teams that he will play for coming out of USC, or he'll go back to USC. First of all, if I see the Bears sitting at 1, I'm going back to USC. Caleb Williams wants ownership stake in whatever team drafts him. Kid, you're not that good. Caleb Williams is not going to be a successful NFL quarterback. He is going to be Kyler Murray. He might have 1 or 2 good seasons, but at some point, they're going to walk away from him before his rookie contract. And that's Combs' eye test.
Wow. John says Chicago could mess up a wet dream.
It's true.
And then he also
They've ruined
says,
mine a couple times.
And then he says that Caleb Williams will get crushed in the NFL.
Yes.
And then Wayne G is in the chat. What is up, Wayne G? And he says Michael Penix Jr. is my guy, but he's also a Pac-12. Listen, Michael Penix Jr. got his feet wet in the Big Ten from the Indiana University. IU, baby. That's why Michael Penix Jr. is good. Let's just be honest about that.
How do you look versus Oregon?
Michael Penix Jr.?
Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't watched a lot of college games, but I thought he did well. I thought it was a good game, right?
He did all right. They lost, but he did all right.
I mean, I don't know. Jay says, I feel like the Lions are buying at the trade deadline. They're all in on this season. I don't think the Lions need to buy anything. Like, who are you going to buy? Are you going to buy, like, another safety to replace C.J. Gardner-Johnson? Like, do the Lions need anybody, Combs?
The Lions are studs.
I mean,
actually, Washington beat Oregon by 3.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the Lions, they already have their depth. They have their starters. They have 10 starters out right now, and they're still winning. They're still improving. That's why I have them at like number 1. It just, I don't know.
Yeah. I just think with college quarterbacks, you have to look how they play. Like when Deshaun Watson beat Alabama in the national title game,
mm-hmm.
You knew just by watching that game alone, he was going to have success in the NFL. But you can't take a lot of these college quarterbacks. Like, let's take, and you brought up Wayne G, and he was like, what's the kid from Jacksonville? His name always
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. He loved Trevor Lawrence. Hell, his co-host on his show said that if you took if you went into a lab and you built a quarterback, the perfect quarterback, you would come out with Trevor Lawrence. He wasn't going to be all that. And I said he wasn't going to be all that coming out of the draft. And I think he's showing that he's not all that so far in the NFL. He's been okay. He's had some good games, but he's also had some really bad games.
Right.
He's still not exactly what everybody thought he was going to be coming out of college, because you're playing against much lesser talent. Hell, one of the greatest quarterbacks in college history is Tim Tebow. How did he do in the NFL?
He never got a fair shot. Let's just be honest.
It's true. He had a winning season. His one season he was a quarterback, and he won a playoff game in Pittsburgh, by the way.
Mm-hmm. No, it was at home.
I thought it was in Pittsburgh.
I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was at home.
Maybe it was at home. Either way, he won a playoff game and then never got another shot.
Yeah. Kind of weird.
One of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time.
Jay brings
not
up a
all
good
games
point.
translate to the NFL, and the Caleb Williams game is not going to translate.
Jay says Vince Young too. Vince Young was a great college quarterback.
Oh, remember Patrick Mahomes?
Terrible.
I think we all know who that guy is.
Yeah, he was average.
How was he at Texas Tech?
Average at best.
He was 12-24.
Yeah.
Nobody knew Patrick Mahomes was going to be Patrick Mahomes.
No.
They knew he had potential to be good. They didn't know he had potential of being the next great thing. Guy's been to 3 Super Bowls in his first 5 years?
Yeah.
NFC title game, I believe, in each of his first 5 years.
Yep. Very, very.
How would you know that coming out of Texas Tech? Nobody knew that.
No, and
that's why I didn't blame the Bears for taking Mitch Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
I blame them for taking him over Deshaun Watson.
So
and we have a lot of massage parlors in Chicago.
You bring up a great point. When you saw Deshaun Watson play versus Alabama in the championship game, you knew he was going to be a great NFL quarterback, right? There was also a player that got a lot of hype over one game, and that's Jadeveon Clowney, right?
One game, one hit.
It was the one hit. Catapult him, to like number 2 overall pick, number 3 overall pick. Like,
yeah.
I mean, college doesn't correlate to NFL. It's like I see
it's a different game.
I see it all the time. Like, oh, Alabama could beat the Chicago Bears or the Cleveland Browns when they went 0-16. Okay, you can say that, but you have to realize everybody on the Cleveland Browns is a professional athlete. Only 12 players on Alabama are professional athletes. Like, it just doesn't.
And let's just be real. My nephew's Pee Wee football team, the 12U team,
yeah,
they could beat the Chicago Bears.
Let's not get crazy. David says, but Mahomes went to Andy Reid.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was.
If a quarterback goes to the right situation, like if Caleb Williams gets in the right situation with the right quarterback coach, with the right head coach, with the right offensive coordinator,
yeah,
sure, you might strike lightning. But the chances of one of those guys being available with a top pick, very, very slim.
Right.
You're not going to a great offensive coordinator. You're not going to a great head coach because those guys are already doing things.
True. Very, very true. I mean, like, I feel like you can say that to almost every NFL player, falling into the right situation, the right defensive scheme, the right offensive scheme. Like, I mean, I hate to bring this up, but what if Tom Brady doesn't go to the Patriots? What if he goes to the Cleveland Browns back when the Cleveland Browns were a quarterback when everybody and their dog went there to like die? Would we be talking about Tom Brady as the greatest quarterback of like all time?
I think
probably
so.
not.
Because I think it was more Tom Brady. But let's bring it to a different level. If Patrick Mahomes gets drafted by the Bears with the number 2 pick, I think he's just a slightly better version of Mitch Trubisky. And he has to go somewhere else to be a better quarterback.
Definitely average. Yes.
Yes.
And John brings up a great point. Coaching is very important for quarterbacks. Yes.
110%.
Very true. On the bright side, you know who Patrick Mahomes' quarterback coach was his first years in the NFL?
Matt Nagy.
Your boy. So
now but then he got noted as a quarterback whisperer,
right?
Because you took this 12-24 quarterback and made him a great NFL quarterback, and we made him an offensive coordinator and a head coach, and now look at us.
What if the butterfly effect, right? What if Patrick Mahomes doesn't go to the Chiefs? He goes to the Chicago Bears. Does Matt Nagy get deemed the quarterback whisperer? Does he become a head coach of the Chicago Bears? No. He's probably still quarterback coach for the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're still a 13-win team in the NFL first-round playoffs year after year because that's the Kansas City Chiefs MO. So I would like to be able to get on a supercomputer and do an alternate universe. What if this happened? What would really happen? Does Trump become president? Does Joe Biden become president? Are we calling Arnold Schwarzenegger President Schwarzenegger? It's just
yeah, and let's not. Matt Nagy's first year, because they had a pretty good defense, and Mitch Trubisky was serviceable. They went 12-4 that year, and Mitch Trubisky in that playoff game, even though we had the double doink, did throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game.
And I don't think the Bears have had a 300-yard passer since then, have they?
Well, yeah, Justin Fields just did it the other day.
Okay. Wayne G says a new definition of average in the NFL is 5,000 yards passing in 12 games with 41 touchdowns. I don't think so.
It's like the new MLB, 180 and 47 home runs.
Hey, chicks dig the long ball.
Kyle Schwarber.
John says then he would have been like Belichick in Cleveland, as in Tom Brady.
Kyle Schwarber hit 180, hit 47 home runs, and he's the leadoff hitter for the Phillies.
Aren't the Phillies one of the best teams in MLB right now too?
They are.
Yeah.
But if I would have told you 5 years ago, hey, your leadoff hitter is going to hit 180 and hit 47 home runs, you'd have been like, I can't have a leadoff hitter hitting 180.
No, or hitting that many home runs.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, give me some guys on base so he can score some more runs, but it is what it is.
It was a plus 80,000 the other day, and I wanted to put down a $1 bet to win 800 for Kyle Schwarber to hit a home run on the first pitch.
Did he do it?
He did it, but my other podcast ran late, and the game started before I could put the bet down.
Jeez. Fucking
Sad.
Chicago. All right, guys, that is going to be it for today's show. We are cutting it short. I got to get little man off the bus. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. East Coast time, live, raw, uncut NFL sports talk. NFL sports talk, NFL talk. Combsy, send us out, big guy.
Man, our nation, rise up.